Today I really want to talk a little bit about my process of getting old doubles to be in a position to shoot again. And I think things change a lot every year, so I'm actually going to put a time limit on this video. It is for 2025. This is where in 2025 I go for the different components. And again, looking at these double rifles, there's two caveats on this video. The first one is, if you buy a modern double rifle, you may not have the same challenges, because most modern, newly made double rifles are regulated with commercial ammunition. So you can just go and buy the same ammunition in the same bullet weight that the rifle was regulated with, and you'll be fine. What I'm talking about is looking at doubles that are a little older and where you don't have the actual access to the actual bullets that it was with which it was regulated. Here we have a Wesley Richards double in 425. Here we have a Jeffrey in 400 Jeffrey. Both of these rifles were made before the 1920s, and both of these rifles were regulated with cordite rounds. So where do you go and how do you start? And what I want to also make clear is what I'm going to share with you is what works for me. And what works for me may not work for you. And always use common sense and be safe, when you embark on a process like this. My first step, once I acquire an older double rifle, is really to get it in the hands of a competent gunsmith who has experience with double rifles. And again, for me, I use JJ Perdo. I've used him for at least the last decade. He's helped me with minor things on some of the guns, and I would say 90% of the cases there wasn't really any big mechanical issues. But I think a good clean strip and just to go through that gun, make sure it's mechanically sound, is a good place to start. Now obviously, if something goes wrong, and especially on these older guns, you'll find that the recoil pads, especially if they were made of rubber, they tend to start disintegrating once you start using that rifle. So I also use JJ to do little things like that, replace a recoil pad if there's an issue. So I think once the gun is declared sound and I've got comfort that it'll shoot, then I cheat a little bit, and I'll explain to you how I do that in just a second. Now, with many of these older guns, as I said, they were regulated with cordite, so we don't use cordite anymore. So now we're going to look for loads, and really you need two things to make a double shoot well. You need to get it to regulate with a specific bullet weight at a specific velocity. Once you've found that combination of velocity and bullet weight that works well, you can replicate that very, very easily through normal reloading practices. But where's the starting point? And I cheat a little bit. I try and scrounge the internet and buy some of these more recent, fresh kind of ammunition for most of the doubles. If I can get a hold of kind of ammunition, I think they were very sensible in the fact that they were really trying to duplicate some of the cordite loads, and I found them to be pretty accurate with very small changes necessary. But I would buy these ammunition. Now please make sure you don't buy really old kind of ammo. You buy the freshest ones you can get, and I'll shoot one through the left and one through the right barrel, chronograph them, get the speed or velocity, and then go find the components to duplicate and maybe make some small changes. But that's really my starting point. Now, especially when one starts with the older doubles, and you're going to need a lot of information. So I have found a couple of really good reference books that I don't go without. The first one, and I think the most important one, if you're only going to get one, this is the one I'll get, is Shooting the British Double Rifle by Wright, a fantastic gentleman from Australia. This is the 4th edition. It's his latest book. It actually covers off not only the British double rifle but also Paradox rifles. So it also has load information on black powder express guns. So if you're shooting a black powder gun, you're going to find value in there. And every time I read this book, there's something that I find very, very useful that I didn't really focus on the prior time. So again, this book has pressure data in it. It's got reloading data in it. It's updated. And I think this is, if you're only going to get one book, this is the one to definitely look at. Now, obviously, you know, with the older rifles, I utilize Woodley bullets almost exclusively. So I think the Woodley reloading manual is critical as well. There's an updated one. It's about two, maybe 3 years old now. But I keep that as well. And there's actually a lot of Graham's data is in this book as well. So I really like the Woodley book as well. And I use that to you know, make sure that loads are safe and they make sense. And then this guy Pierre van der Walt from South Africa, he also presents some reloading classes. This is a very nice book, African Dangerous Game Cartridges. What I like about this book is it has more reloading data, maybe if you live in other countries outside of the US. So there's more propellants in there that you can use. But it's got a really good little bit of history behind every caliber, and it just puts things into perspective on how to use them. So I would say, you know, if this is my deal, these are the 3 books that I use, gathering all my information, and then you know, getting the thing going. So all right, that's for where do I get my information from. Now the details here may be a little bit small to see, but if you're looking for the Graham Wright 4th edition shooting the British double rifle, you can buy it or order it from Buffalo Arms. They're in Ponderay, Idaho, and their details are there. But yeah, so the book is available 2025 from Buffalo Arms. Next up for me is brass, and I use really 2 sources of brass for, I would say, 90% of the guns I shoot. I either use Hornady if they do manufacturing the caliber. You know, I'll keep my eyes open and find whatever I can find. But then I also use Bertram brass from Australia on the calibers that are a little more tricky to find, like the 45 Wesley Richards. You know, I'll buy Bertram brass. Now, just, you know, again, it's 2025, where you're going to find this stuff. This gentleman, Eric Freeman of Desert Tech Munitions, he is supplying Bertram brass. I just ordered some for a 450 3¼ inch nitro from him. Very easy to do business with, great folks. And they'll actually, you know, on their next order, put some stuff in there, you know, if you need a specific caliber. So that's the story on my brass. With regards to projectiles, on the older rifles, I only use Woodley projectiles. So there was a little bit of time where Woodleys were hard to come by, but you know, I'm in a position to tell you that I think Jeff is in good shape, and we're looking at June of 2025, and this was on Facebook a while ago, where there's 2 guys that are going to stock it in the US, one on the East Coast in Virginia, and one in Oregon. So I think Woodleys are going to become more available. I'm going to just zoom in a little bit there. So if you're on the East Coast, you can try Raven Rocks Precision in Fredericksburg, Virginia. And if you're on the West Coast, you can try Mike and Gun Works in Pendleton, Oregon. So I think, you know, the projectile situation is going to be a lot better. I also like using these hydro solids for a solid bullet on the double rifles. The driving bands on there make sure that we don't get high pressure, so that's my preference for solid. And then the normal round nose, soft nose bullets from Woodley have performed very, very well in all of my older doubles. Now once you have all the components, you've got to put them together. So with regards to reloading dies, it might be a little more challenging, but there are a couple of things that have worked well for me. So firstly, RCBS used to make all of these obsolete calibers. So there's a bunch of these dies out there, and I just go online every now and then and see if I can find them. Now, if you run out of time and you can't find them, there are two other options. You can actually order custom dies. There's a company called ch4d.com. They will manufacture you the dies. You can go on a little bit of a waiting list, and you're going to get your dies from them. I've also had good luck with Hornady. I've reached out to them, and there is a die from Hornady made for 425 Wesley Richards. I sent them 2 fired cases from each barrel. They made these dies custom to my rifle, and they work very, very well. So I think if you need dies, you're in a bind, you can't find them online, Hornady is a good option. And then ch4d.com, you can try them, and that'll put your dies together. So that's kind of my deal. I think I just wanted to share a little bit with you kind of what worked for me, give you some of these addresses and people to contact, because I think one of the big problems that we run into is there's not really an area where you can find everything in one spot. So I hope that this will help at least some of you. Have a great day.